Hello fellow builders, Crystal Run County welcomes you back to another video. In the last video, the first group of settlers, who are bold Yankees from the east looking for adventure and purpose, gained a foothold along this majestic river tucked away in this gorgeous valley. These brave and adventurous folk embrace the responsibility and hard work necessary to tame this area and have met their basic food, water, and shelter needs by living off the land, but now it's time to expand the settlement by laying roots for what will hopefully be a prosperous vineyard and logging company. I've already used the industry DLC painting tool to designate both a farming area and forestry area, as well as placed the regular district on top of that and marked that forestry specialization in the forestry area, of course, and farming specialization in the farming area, in case we want to mix industry specialization with industry's DLC. Our forestry area is taking shape. Let's go ahead and check unemployment. Looks like it says 15%, which is good because we're going to be placing down a handful of the industry DLC assets, which is going to employ a lot of our citizens. And while I do that, let's go ahead and talk about the easiest way to start industry DLC. And that way is very simple, very basic. What we're going to do is place down one or two extractors. In this case, the small tree plantation. Then we're going to go ahead and place down one small storage unit, the sawdust storage unit, and then we'll go ahead and place down one or two small processing buildings like the sawmill. We're going to turn off the sawmill. We're going to set the storage unit to balance. It's going to start importing. We're going to allow that to fill up to about 40 to 50%. While the extractors run, we're going to offset the extractors, do the whole staggering thing, and allow the DLC to run until our sawdust storage gets up to about 40 to 50%. Then at that point, we're going to go ahead and place the small warehouse, set that to plain timber, and turn on our sawmill or mills and let them run, and roughly maintain a 1-to-1 ratio between small extractor and small processor. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the farming industry. Since the town folk want a vineyard in this part of the city, we're going to use the orchards. We'll place one or two of those down, place one small silo down, place a couple small pastures down, turn the pastures off, let the silo fill up to 50% while it's set to balance, then turn on the pastures and place our small warehouse. And the reason why I say that's the easiest way to do it, gets the industry off to a beautiful start because there's only a few assets, so it's very easy to kind of micromanage, fine-tune, and balance the supply chain. And while I'm letting the storage units fill up for the industry's DLC and kind of tinkering with it, let's go ahead and build ourselves a nice, beautiful elementary school. I'm placing the elementary school off the road. That way allows me to give it a nice, beautiful driveway using the 2-lane European road. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the small playground. Just run the dirt road right up to it. And that gives us a nice box that we can put a few props and stuff in and create a nice, beautiful scene right in front of our elementary school. I want to add some fencing around our school just to define the property. The climbing frame from our city park makes a great addition to our elementary school. Maybe the small playground is for kids like grades kindergarten up to 3rd grade, and then the bigger kids like 4th up through 6th grade, or maybe even through middle school, 7th and 8th grade. There's a larger playground area with some bigger, cooler stuff to do. I really like the tree sapling. I want to add that as a border tree all the way around the school perimeter. It's just a really nice, small, almost delicate tree that to me is just very decorative. The elementary school is looking great. And while we were building that school, we hit another milestone. The one after Tiny Town, I believe, was probably 2,500 citizens, something like that. We're at 2,600 citizens, 245,000, making some decent money as I'm expanding the industry's DLC a little bit in the background. And we unlocked cemetery, elder care, and child care. And we have this area that's kind of in between some of the residential folks and our commercial area. This odd-shaped block, we'll call it. That looks like a great place to do a little bit something special with the cemetery. And let's go ahead and do some fencing around it. I'm using the city park fence. It's a nice fence. Let's go ahead and add a path, get people moving, and it's something nice and decorative behind the cemetery. And I want to raise our cemetery and place it on a hill. I'm going to do a little bit more detailing with that, especially with the tombstones. And we'll come back and see that when we're done. But I want to go ahead and get started on our elder care and our child care area. So that can be like right next door. I do want to take this time to mention that there are 4 assets named after some wonderful people that are subscribers to this channel. The King of Zombies, Shokaboo, GPC by Tin, and Mr. Driftman. I'll be showing them off next episode. I was still working on the areas I've dedicated to them when they did place a comment on the last video. I'll also mention it here. If you do leave a comment in the comment section, you'll get something named after you. And I'll try to point it out either in the next video or the next few videos. Just depends on when you place your comment and of course when I'm shooting the footage. And I have a special surprise for those who leave comments on 3 videos in a row. I'll mention that probably in either the next video or the following video, which would be episode 3 or 4, if we're keeping track, but I'm not. And if you do post a comment, let me know if you're crazy like me and just love for whatever reason to spend 30 minutes to an hour decorating an elder care building. I mean, this probably took me probably 20 minutes, 15 minutes, but you get the gist. Sometimes you just get lost in it. The high school that you will see probably next episode took a good 45 minutes to an hour to build, and I think the time and effort definitely shows. And I had somebody comment on the stream actually yesterday morning. Man, they were just blown away by how good something looked. I think I was working on another high school, or I have a baseball field coming up, and they were saying like their cities never look like this. And that's of course is a great comment to hear. I love building in cities, so even if I didn't get comments like that, I've still been building. But I also appreciate those comments when they do come in. So thank you very much for giving me those compliments. Alright, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the area before we wrap this one up. The developed community is coming along. I'm still blowing up a few buildings, but most of the buildings are in. A little bit of detailing left to do, but it's looking really good. I'm working on this high school down in the right corner, and I got one parking lot that just doesn't want to come in. Sometimes they come in like one after the other, and sometimes it takes like 15 bulldozers to get one in. It's just ridiculous. And I did a little bit more expansion with the industry. You can see some pastures I placed amongst the trees. It looks nice. I kind of made it a little lumpy because the land's not always perfectly flat, and the forestry industry is kind of humming along as well. Word of this beautiful area is starting to spread throughout the land, and it sounds like a second group of settlers is looking to move into Crystal Run County. The rumor is they're mostly European settlers who disagree with their current political climate of their homeland and are setting out for a land free of the political strife and turmoil. These immigrants come from various wealth and social backgrounds, but their faith binds them all together. So I'm really interested to see what kind of settlement they create in the next episode. But until then, I wish you all the best and brightest cities that you can build, and as always, happy building.